Broadcasting from the KMF Collective Studio, it's time for the Athletes of the Titan Games podcast. This limited release show features the stories of the 2020 contestants of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's athletic competition, NBC's The Titan Games. Now, here's your host, Katie Galley.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 20 of the Athletes of the Titan Games podcast. I'm your host, Katie Galley. In the KMF Collective Studio with me today, I have Titan Games athlete, creator of Titan Fuel and Dream Weaver Fit, Tennessee Titans Hyperion, and Kentucky State Trooper Bartley Weaver. How you doing, Bartley?
Hey, doing great. I'm surprised you remembered all that.
Yeah, so I may or may not have written it down just to remember, in case.
I have to too sometimes. So.
Yeah. It'd be pretty cool if I could remember that off the top of my head, but definitely didn't. But yes, you have quite the amazing amount of things that you've accomplished, Bartley, and I'm super excited to dive in. And so just to kind of get to know your background a little bit, can you tell us where you grew up and how, if at all, was your childhood shaped by athletics?
Sure. I grew up in Cave City, Kentucky. That's pretty close to Mammoth Cave. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but one of the largest cave systems in the world. Anyway, just give you a little geographical perspective there. Grew up there. Played sports my whole life. My dad got me in the gym when I was 12 years old. So got started young. I really enjoyed working out and, seeing the progress that, you can achieve while you put in consistent hard work. So it didn't take long for me to fall in love with the gym and working out. Back then it was just to be better for sports. Now it's more of a, lifestyle. It's business for me now. I'm a walking business card. So, it helped me, of course, during sports. It's hard to change your speed and your genetics, but one thing that you can control is your work ethic and getting stronger. Everybody can do that. So that's kind of how it started, and it all started there, I guess.
Yeah. And I mean, I love that, being influenced by your dad. And then, like you said, right, you trained initially for sports, but then now you're a walking business card. It's what you do, and you have your side hustles of in the fitness world. And so, Bartley, at that time when you were younger, were you training for certain sports in particular? Did you have aspirations to continue on into high school and college with sports, or was it really just fitness in general that you were a part of?
Yeah, I played all the sports growing up. I primarily focused on football. I kind of saw it was my calling card to a potential college scholarship down the line. So towards, my senior year, that's the only sport I played, and I just trained hard in the off season just to get better for that. So I ended up getting a college scholarship, Kentucky Wesleyan College. It's a D2 Division II school, so it was pretty cool, having several different offers on the table, and I could have went to some bigger, more notable schools, but I'd like to play, and I knew that if I went to Kentucky Wesleyan, I was going to be starting my freshman year. So That's the route we went. Met some great people, and then that's kind of got into bodybuilding about halfway through college. I tore my ACL my sophomore year in football, so that's when I kind of transitioned into tracking the macros and dieting and a little extra cardio, trying to get in shape for bodybuilding competition. So that right there opened up another can of worms.
Yeah, and I mean, that's, getting injured playing your sport, that stinks, but then, like you said, having something come out of it, so being able to learn about bodybuilding and go into that. And so did you complete your then college career as a football player, or did you ultimately decide you wanted to go all in with bodybuilding?
I pretty much went all in with bodybuilding. when I first started playing college football, I had the aspirations of making it to the NFL, and then you kind of realize who's got the potential and who don't. It wasn't for my work ethic. It's just when it comes to taking the next step, to the next level, you've got to be phenomenal in all aspects of the game. But I had a conversation with somebody recently. I don't know if you want to go there yet, but
Yeah.
I always wanted to play in the NFL. And this past year I was lucky enough to be Hyperion for the Tennessee Titans. So, in a sense, my NFL dreams came true because I was a part of the Tennessee Titans organization, on the payroll, on the field every Sunday, best seat in the house, go anywhere I want to on the field. So that was a pretty unique experience there.
I bet. And I mean, having that chance to, it was, I guess then you were part of the NFL, but it's, not in the way that you anticipated, but you were still part of it, which is amazing.
Not as many zeros on my paycheck as some of the players, but it was still fun.
Hey, you still lived out a dream, right? You still were able to do that, which is amazing. I mean, being able to accomplish that. And so, Bartley, on the way to that, so bodybuilding, really getting involved in that sport, and then, like you said, this last year being the Hyperion for the Tennessee Titans. How did becoming a Kentucky State Trooper fall into all of this?
I majored in criminal justice.
Okay.
In college, so I knew I wanted to do some type of law enforcement. I've always been about public service, meeting people in my family, teachers and such. So public service has always been at the forefront. It's satisfying, to be able to give back in one way or another. So I've been a state trooper the past 5 years. I worked as a probation and parole officer for 3 years before that. So, initially got into it for the public service aspect, and the retirement, was pretty good when I was in college, 20 years and be able to retire and start something else. I don't know if I'll ever retire. It seems like, the busier I get, the more fun I have, so I'm, I think I've got like 16 or 17 years left. They bumped it up to 25-year retirement right before I graduated, unfortunately. But like I said, I'll be working until the day I die, I believe.
I love it. I mean, and when you find something you love, what is it? Yeah. You never work a day in your life, right?
So. Right. I was about to counter with that.
There you go.
Exactly what I was thinking.
There you go. And I love that, having such a real passion for being a state trooper and just finding that joy every single day that you get to go to work. And so then, Bartley, on this side, like you said, you had your side hustles. So with Titan Fuel and Dreamweaver Fit, what are those and how did they come into existence?
Yeah, it's nobody in my family's got an entrepreneur bone in their body, and people kind of thought I was crazy when I kind of come up with different business strategies. But everything I've put my mind to, it's been successful, and I think I just, it's kind of like bodybuilding. If the amount of dedication and hard work that it takes, to fulfill a goal and to get on stage, and diet for, 18 weeks and sacrifice a lot of social gatherings and stuff like that. You build willpower that, is second to none. You're running off of half the calories of what everybody else eats, and, you just develop a different level of motivation. And so, I was training myself, everything, and, I had a couple people come up to me and, they wanted some help. They wanted me to coach them. And, I started taking on a couple clients, didn't have a website built or anything. And it kind of took off, and I had multiple people. And, I love helping people. I helped many people for free, starting out. It came to a point, time is very valuable, and I was dedicating a large part of my life to, creating meal plans and workout plans and such. So I decided, it's time to monetize it and get paid for my time that I'm putting into it. So
yeah,
I created Dream Weaver Fit, and we do. I've got apparel on there. I had several clients that had a lot of success with my program, and they're proud of it. They feel like family. So, they were wanting like some T-shirts made, tank tops made, and that slowly transitioned to about 30 different apparel items on my website. But I have fun with it too. I get to wear my own stuff. I'm like, why should I buy this brand or that brand when I can make my own for cheaper? So I've been doing that, and a lot of your listeners might be interested. I do an 8-week transformation challenge. I usually do it 3 or 4 times a year, and it's probably been the most popular thing that I do. I usually have 50 to 75 people sign up for these 8-week challenges, and I usually have a couple $1,000s worth of prizes.
Wow.
So, and I've wrote a transformation playbook, and everybody that's in the challenge gets one of those books that I've written. And it kind of, I wanted to have something, if people couldn't afford one-on-one online coaching, I wanted to have something in place that could help anybody, at any experience level, any age, any gender, so I developed that, and that's been a huge success there.
That is amazing. You've developed so many different iterations of Dreamweaver Fit and putting it out there in ways that, people can receive it in different ways. And
Right.
then two, being able to, like you said, living your own mission and brand, wearing your brand, but then creating it so that others are living out that same mission. So they want to represent your brand just as much as you do.
No, exactly. And, just building my brand, and, it's free advertising when you've got people walking around in your tank top or your hoodie or headband or anything like that. And, I think you asked me about the Titan Fuel too. I got sidetracked there talking about all the stuff on Dreamweaver Fit. But
you're good.
Yeah, so, being on the Titan games and being Hyperion for Tennessee Titans, I'm like, hey, I think we need to capitalize off of all this Titan action.
For sure.
So I've always been passionate about supplements. Like I said, I started working out when I was 12. I'm 31, going on 32, so almost 20 years straight. And back in high school, I can remember taking supplements and pre-workout, protein, and the simple things there. So I was like, well, I know a little bit about supplements. I got a bunch of friends that have gyms and supplement companies. So I was like, let's try it out. So that's where Titan Fuel was born. So we just launched, actually, unique timing. We launched on my episode of the Titan Games.
Awesome. So, there you go.
Yeah. So I've got quite a bit extra traffic. I think it started. I'm not sure if you saw it or not, but the Rock reposted me on his Instagram page. So,
dang.
My social media's been blowing up ever since that. It had I think his video of me had 4 million views or close to it. So just imagine how many people clicked on that,
Right. And that's what you have to do. Like you said, capitalize using the platform that you already had, and propelling yourself forward. So you're already prepared for that. But that's just, I love seeing that happen. Being able to just further your brand, further your mission. So Bartley, like you said, the Titan, being on the Titan Games, being the Tennessee Titans Hyperion, that lended itself to creating Titan Fuel. But for you, before any of that happened, how did you even become a contestant on this season of the Titan Games?
Well, it's a funny story. I actually applied the first season, but never submitted it. Um, I filled out all the paperwork, but I got to the very end. It's like, all right, now make a 3-minute video telling why you should be on the Titan games. So I was like, man, I don't know what to put. You know, you know how it is. That's
Right.
something I kind of procrastinated, and I was like, this time around, I was like, well, since last year, I've become a professional competitive feeder. I think you can add that to the opening title as
There
well.
you go. Just throw it in
Yeah. Yeah. So, I've ranked in the world, 32 in the world.
Oh, wow. You're a
And,
legitimate professional leader.
oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm number one in Kentucky.
Man.
And 32 in the world. So that was a great storyline for NBC.
Mm-hmm.
That was probably one of their most interesting storylines that I had.
I bet.
So I turned pro. I was just amateur, and then since season 1 aired, then I turned pro before season 2, and I got the Tennessee Titans gig. So I had those two, and then I had the state police and doing the charity work with the competitive eating and in the bodybuilding, which don't really make much sense with professional eating, but
Right.
I make it work somehow. So
Right.
and I just meshed all those videos together on iMovie one day. It was actually the deadline for season 2. I was on the Stairmaster working out, and so I meshed all these together and then did a voiceover like half out of breath and sent it in, and they called me 30 minutes later.
Wow.
It's like, why'd you make us wait this long? I was like, man, I didn't know what to say, and so I got a call about 5 minutes after that, and we set up a Skype interview for NBC. Just kind of asked me some questions and go over everything. Within about 2 or 3 days, I got a call that I need to be in Los Angeles next week for the tryout. So snuck in a weekend off, with state police, and went out there to LA. Didn't really tell anybody, kind of all undercover there. Of course, you can't say anything. We couldn't say why we were out there anyway.
Yeah.
And so this has been the Titan Games is one of the biggest secrets I've ever had to keep, I guess.
Oh, I love that. That's great. And I mean, being able to bring together everything that you've achieved, everything you're working on, and now that being able to, this opportunity, being able to further all those platforms along, that's really amazing. And so Bartley, like you said, you clearly admire The Rock, and the idea that he reshared your video or he posted a video of you, and it really helped you take off. And knowing too that he's the creator of the Titan Games, I wonder, do you have any recollection of maybe when you first became aware of him, either when you were growing up, when you were younger, just your first kind of recollection of realizing who The Rock was?
I was definitely a huge Rock fan growing up. I loved wrestling back in the day. That was kind of his prime in wrestling was my prime growing up. So I got to experience that, kind of fell in love with his character. And then, really, I've really idolized him, the past several years, just seeing how positive he was. And I told him this backstage when I got a chance to talk to him, and, just how much I idolized, his positivity. I told him that, I sort of model my social media after his. You'll never see anything negative. Everything's positive, motivational. I respect him as a family man. And just a great overall human being that's bringing nothing but positivity to this place. So,
yeah.
I talked to him about that, and also his business acumen. I've always thought how impressive it was to do as much as he's doing, and I've had several people ask me, I don't see how you got time to do anything. And, I don't see how you get it all done. And even before this, I told him, I was like, how busy do you think The Rock is?
Right.
He's doing everything I'm doing, but on a 10 times grander scale. So,
Yeah.
so
That's a great point. And I mean, I love that though, because you see yourself in his own story. And you are, like you said, you're inspired by him. So you want to be that same level of positivity and light for someone else. So someone who follows you with Dreamweaver Fit or Titan Fuel or as a state trooper, whatever it is that you're doing, and as the Hyperion, putting yourself out there in all these different avenues in that positive way, because you never know who's watching or who's listening. So you get to be that light and encouragement for them.
yeah, absolutely. I have people all the time, and it blows my mind every time that I've got such a positive impact on somebody's life. Sometimes it might seem like, hey, I'm posting too much on Instagram, posting 3 or 4 times a day, and doing all this and all these workouts and posting all this type of stuff. But you'll get a message from time to time saying, you've changed my life. I've been following you for the past 3 or 4 years and respect everything that you've been doing. I've constantly got people reaching out to me that want to invest in some of my companies just because they respect my work ethic and, how much drive I've got. And, it blows my mind. Had one today, he's wanting to jump on as an investor for Titan Fuel. And I'm like, I got it right now, man. But, so it's pretty unique, just to be able to, I've always said, if you can help one person, that's all that makes a difference. And I think I've been blessed enough, to be put in a position, have the platform that I have to, positively affect many people.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I love that. And it's the idea that just thinking about that one person, helping that one person. And so for you, Bartley, then being in the presence of all these other individuals too, who have overcome obstacles like yourself and are in pursuits of achieving these great things and have achieved great things, being around them on the Titan Games, your fellow contestants, and then too, just reflecting on your own journey. What would you say is your definition of a Titan?
My definition of a Titan is a hardworking individual. I met so many great souls, and we talk every single day. There's not a day that's gone by since we all left each other in February, that we haven't communicated, and some of us, I've developed some friendships that are stronger than many friendships I've ever had. It's incredible to connect with somebody, different walk of life, different story, but we've all got one thing in common. We're ambitious. We're hardworking, and we're reliable. Most of us have many different responsibilities to take care of on a day-to-day basis, but one thing, definitely common denominator is hardworking.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I love that. Hardworking, ambitious, reliable, hitting all those points. But like you said, it's not just in the confines of then athletics. It's in whatever part of life that a person is walking through. It's whatever they take home, whatever they do for a living. It transcends all of those arenas.
Right. And I think there's, it's impossible not to be successful when you carry those attributes.
Yep.
Whatever, it's kind of like, whatever you put your mind to, you'll make it happen.
Right.
And I think it's common with everybody, just listening to their stories and, the stuff that they've been through to make it to the show. Mine are a little more entertaining in the aspect of eating 47 slices of pizza in 30 minutes versus, somebody else had to, had a certain diagnosis or something else, but mine, I always try to bring laughter and positive vibes. Absolutely. Wherever I go. So
Yeah. And that is your mission. That is, that light and that legacy that you're leaving behind. And so, Bartley, in that same light, with everything you've accomplished in this incredible mission that you're on in pursuit of that encouragement and in leading people right and helping them, and then looking forward now using this platform that you've been given because of being on the Titan Games and really pursuing that and propelling your mission forward. I just have one final question that I ask all of my interviewees. What do you want to be remembered for?
I want to be remembered for a person that never considered himself better than anybody else and is always willing to help anybody at any time. So, I've had a bunch of friends, joke around that some college buddies, hey, don't forget us when you're big time. I was like, man, I ain't big time. Never, and even if I did get a huge road beyond what I've already done, I'm always the same person, from small town Cave City, Kentucky. Like I told you earlier, I was like, I was proud to give the shout out on national television that's where I was from, because nobody's really ever made it out of there, done anything significant, so it just, God's blessed me with many things, and I know that He'll continue to, because every chance I get, any crazy thing that I've accomplished, I always give glory to God, because, without Him giving me the platform and these opportunities, I wouldn't be anywhere. So I always try to stay grounded with that as well.
Thank you all for tuning in to today's installment of the Athletes of the Titan Games podcast. To learn more about each of these Titan athletes, be sure to check out their information in the links in my show notes. Furthermore, to stay up to date on all things coming out of the KMF Collective, be sure to subscribe to the Keep Moving Forward YouTube channel and follow along on social media, also available in the show notes. As the creator of the Titan Games, Mr. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson says, "Titans aren't born, they're made." And I hope today's story helped you realize all that you are capable of becoming if you put in that hard work and just keep moving forward.